Hello, this is AM Trades, and today we are going to be talking about the importance of journaling your trades and data collection within the world of day trading and risk management. So, if we look here, we have my trading journal on Notion, which is a program that I use quite frequently for trading and outside of trading as well as a kind of personal journal place and task manager and calendar. So, if we go into this, I want to first say that I believe it's so important due to strategy development. So, no matter what strategy you trade, so let's say it's support and resistance, supply and demand, Wyckoff, SMC, anything, you are going to have um, slight differences in the way that you trade compared to your mentor or whoever you learned it off of. Okay, whether that be the time frame that you're trading, because time frames are fractal, and no matter how deep you go into it, the same patterns will always repeat. But let's say it's time frame, you have your kind of physical time frame. Let's say that you usually trade within the first hour of New York Open, and your mentor prefers to wait until an hour and a half, right? So you can always find something. There will always be little tweaks like that you can make to maximize your success, and that will naturally be made over the course of your trading journey. The way that this ties into kind of journaling your trades and data collection is through being able to have an objective place to see what patterns repeated themselves, which is also a part of pattern recognition, which is incredibly important. Which patterns repeated themselves, and where do you differ from the baseline that you learned? So let's say here, let's take this trade as an example. So this was October 24th, 2023. So I can see immediately, day of the week, it was a Tuesday. We can see that it was NASDAQ, and we were long. So immediately I can see in my head, okay, Tuesday, so it was a kind of day already into a little bit into the week, and we can see that we were long biased. And we can see here it was a win, and the session was New York Stock Exchange Open, which is at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I always trade New York Stock Exchange Open. I do not trade London session, and I do not trade any Forex sessions. Well, they're pretty much the same thing, but I don't trade any Forex pairs in which relate to those different session times. So we can see here entry times. This would have been 17:05 London time, which means that it would have been around an hour and a bit into New York Open. And then we have duration, which is 7 minutes, the RR, which was 1.03, and the extension R, which is 2.2. So I can see how much did I realize. It was, 1.03, and it was only 7 minutes long, and the extension wasn't much higher than my take profit. So we can see that we had Flash Manufacturing and Flash Services, which I believe comes out at 10 a.m. So this trade was already much past that window for price to develop after that news came out. And then we had a bullish bias, obviously in accordance with our long bias. So moving on, we can see that I had my tools used, or pretty much my confluences, were a breakup structure, liquidity sweep, and a retrace into a fair value gap. So I can see, okay, that was a rather high confluence trade. So I should have been ready and willing to put risk on the table. Not excited, not anything emotional, just objectively be ready to put money and risk on the table and into the market, because at the time I believe that my analysis is correct and that price will follow in my direction. So we can see here we have my emotions, which was nervous and impatient. So I can immediately see, okay, going into the next day, what do I need to work on? I need to work on being more patient, and I need to work on trusting my process and not being so nervous. So that also ties into risk management, which we will discuss later. So we had narrative, and what these really allow me to do is take a few minutes out of my day and kind of write down what my thought process was throughout the whole trade and why I was feeling these said emotions. So if we read this here, how to re-entry off of a retrace on the 1 minute, presumably into a fair value gap. And then structure was still bullish, though I had the same issue with my stop loss where I was so afraid to over risk that I ended up not calculating my stop loss right and getting stopped out. So clearly here it should have been a loss because I did not calculate my stop loss correctly, but this allows me to see, okay, what should I have learned? And that brings us over to the next one, what did I learn? Where I really just note down what did I do wrong and how can I improve it on the next day. So I should have waited for a potential break of structure on the 1 minute and calculated my lot size and not have the fear of over risking. So I'll go into the next day thinking, okay, I'm going to take a conscious effort of calculating my lot size properly, which I use the securities.io lot size calculator, and also placing my stop loss correctly. And so, yeah, this really allows me to reflect and take it into my next day to know exactly what I need to work on. And then we have the trade. So here I have a photo of the MetaTrader executions as well as the TradingView executions. So here I presume that was my stop loss, that yellow line there. Not my stop loss, sorry, my first take profit. And then we have the percentage gain or loss. Again, I prefer to use percentage gain or loss as opposed to a monetary value due to psychology. And usually if you're kind of seeing fluctuations in the monetary amount, you will get emotionally attached to it, and that is not great for your trading, quite obviously. And this also allows me to see if my risk management is in check and where I need to improve on my risk management. So here we can see net minus 3.5%. That means that I was obviously over risking. And it's here. As you can see, I over risked today. Very poor decision. So this trading journal really helps me see and calculate my percentage wins and losses and kind of recognize the patterns that I see within my trading and where I can focus my efforts to achieve the best results, really. With that said, that's about it, and I appreciate you all for watching, and have a good one, and good luck in the next trading week.